Hola, Juan and Jim from Cabo,
Oh.
Mexico for tonight's
Hola,
wrap-up
¿cómo estás?
show.
Muy bien. ¿Y tú? Así, así.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot to get to, including Jim thinking he could travel back from Cabo today and be on the radio show. Um, okay, Padres
Almost.
lose again. They've lost 5 of 6. They are 8-10 overall. Offensively, I think the right word to use would be anemic, but that might be a little kind based on what's happened here during this homestand. So we have a lot to discuss. We want to hear from you. Padres lose to the Braves 2-0, as the Padres have had just a horrific homestand that will end on Wednesday against Atlanta. John and Jim with you. Subscribe, smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Please consider supporting this channel, especially on a night like tonight, by clicking the dollar sign below the chat box. We'll get to all of your super chats tonight. We will also get to all of your we appreciate your memberships as well. Just click the dollar sign, click the join button down below if you'd like to become a member. I guess we can just start with, we'll get to your trip.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Let's start here. Juan Soto's hitless on the homestand. Manny Machado is having a much worse year than Juan Soto, and all of the attention's on Juan Soto. Ryan Weathers was good, but I mean, this offense is a big time problem that I don't know if Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to fix or not come Thursday. But in this exact moment, you can blame a lot of things: marine layer, temperature, good opposing pitching, early season struggles. I'm just going to say that this is basically unacceptable, even 18 games into a season.
Yeah, like I was thinking about this today. It's like if they lose tonight, we'll see how it plays out, right? We'll see how it plays out. I thought Ryan Weathers pitched really well. The first 4 hitters of the game all hit rockets off him, but other than that, I thought he pitched really well. I think that his season to this point has been really good. And so that's a positive, right? There you go. Bullpen, Honeywell, Hill, they're good tonight.
Yep.
Honeywell's been amazing out of the pen this year.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Wilson's been really good. Josh Hader, great. So it's good. And I was thinking, hopefully in a couple months, we're sitting here saying, hey, remember that 8-10 start of the year when they couldn't score any runs? Hopefully we're saying that in just a couple of weeks, right? They win like 7 of 8 or 8 of 10. I hope that we're saying that in a couple of weeks or in a month when this team is 10 games over 500. We're like, dude, remember that 8-10 start? And we're just laughing about it. I hope we say that. But in the moment right now, with the expectations coming into this season, with the hype coming into this season, with the moves made in this offseason, having a full year of Juan Soto, you're getting Xander Bogaerts, having a full year of Josh Hader. You have Manny Machado locked up for the rest of his career. You get some good veterans on this team. You get, some much needed, gap fillers, right? This has been, I'm not going to say embarrassment because 8-10 is not an embarrassment. If they were, 4-14, that's an embarrassment. But underwhelming, it doesn't even, I can't even, it starts with underwhelming and it goes further and further and further with that. Whatever else you want to say that goes with underwhelming, disappointing, like you said, it's been annoying. It's been frustrating. It's all the above. And, the unacceptable part, I get that. And I agree with it because look, you can't get with this offense. Why are you getting shut out as much as you are to start the year? Maybe it's just the start of the year things. It's fine. Okay. But they're just back to the same old. It's like a plug and play. You put in different pieces and it's the same results that we see all the time. And so, yeah, it's just been a very underwhelming start to the year, very disappointing and borderline. It's you're creeping up on, if this continues for another week or so, like you're looking at pathetic type of start to your season.
I mean, there are more than just minor issues. Okay, if you're watching, these are real issues. You could say, well, it's only 18 games in, and you could say they're going to get Fernando Tatis Jr. and Joe Musgrove, all true. But if you're looking at this lineup right now, there are some real concerning issues, starting with Juan Soto and Manny Machado. I mean, it has to start with those two players. Let's get to the super from David. David, thank you for your support of the channel. Thank you guys for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. We get to all of the supers, as you know. He says, my buddy Jim, in Spanish. I know you know that since you just spent a
Of
week in
course, yeah.
Mexico or
My
months.
Spanish is fluent. I mean, I speak fluent.
Vibes are definitely not great.
Not great vibes, bro.
I mean, Max Fried, listen, I like some Max Fried, don't get me wrong. He hadn't pitched since opening day. He absolutely cruised in this game. Every single time the Padres threaten, seemingly this year, they do not come through in clutch situations. They're the worst hitting team with men in scoring position in the National League at under 200 right now. They've been shut out in back-to-back home games for the first time since 2016. So this isn't just, it happens. Not really. I mean, in 2016, I don't recall Manny Machado on that team or Xander Bogaerts or Juan Soto. So, and I heard Bob Melvin say postgame, well, we faced some really good pitching, and you're supposed to win the World Series this year. You have some of the elite hitting in baseball.
Like, hold on. Wait a second. Wasn't it Juan Soto who said that pitchers are going to have to fear us and they should be worried? Wasn't it Juan Soto who said that he's not worried about the Dodgers? No, the Dodgers aren't playing particularly well baseball either, but
right.
Is it Juan Soto who said that this offense is, I'm paraphrasing, but bragging about how great this offense is for a guy who has been flat out, I'm just going to say it, a massive, massive disappointment since he's been traded here. Massive disappointment. There's no other way around it. He has had a horrible start to this season. He had a horrible 2 months with the Padres after he got traded. He had a decent postseason. He had some major clutch hits. I've said that before, and I would want him in clutch situations in the postseason. But as a whole, it has been a massive disappointment from Juan Soto for a guy that's coming over here and talked a lot of shit. Like, would you agree? I mean, he said a lot of things about this team that he has not backed up one bit at all.
I want to know the root cause. Okay. We talked to Chelsea Janes today. She wrote an article about Juan Soto's struggles today in the Washington Post. Something is going on. He's utterly lost. I mean, he's completely and utterly lost right now. He's pulling everything. How about this stat? I heard it on Fox on Saturday from Jason Benetti, who had the call. He has not homered on a pitch other than a fastball since July of last year. So the book is completely out on him. Here is the book. He will try to see pitches to death. Okay. The book is he will find his way on. But if you challenge him, especially early in a count, if you challenge him early in a count with a fastball, he's either going to take it or not be prepared to swing at it. And then eventually it's all breaking pitches. And he will get carved up by breaking pitches. And he now has to adapt. And we'd have to go back and look at the film in 2021, but there is no semblance of 2021 Juan Soto in 2023 Juan Soto. And his total accumulation of time in a Padres uniform, if you add up all the numbers, I mean, it's like this is a shell of the player he was in Washington. Now, here's the question. That's a fact. The question is this: why? What happened? What's transpired? Is it mental? Is it mechanical? Is it physical? Is he hurt? Or is it, hey, I turned down the largest contract in the history of baseball, and now can I ever live up to it ever again? But it's a big problem.
And I don't want to hear the shit excuse of, well, he prefers to hit third instead of second, or the excuse of, hey, the pitch clock is too fast. I can't even get comfortable at the plate.
He is hitting third, by the way.
Like, stop it, okay? Stop that bullshit. It's no. I don't want to hear it. You're too talented, okay? Don't use that excuse. Don't stoop to that level, okay? Don't stoop to the level of using excuses for why you're struggling, why you're not doing well. Like, don't do that. Same thing when I say about Blake Snell. Don't give me that bullshit about the pitch comm. Don't give me that bullshit about the catcher. That's not. It's you. No,
but that's Snell saying that. But I don't actually think Soto's not making excuses for himself, is he? Are you hearing those?
I read that he has said that the pitch clock is an adjustment for him, and he's not used to it, and he can't. What is it? There's no.
He's got to get into the box quicker. He's not being able to talk to the catcher and the umpire.
There's no mind games there. It's like just get it and go. And like I forget where I read it, but it's quotes from him. Like, he said these things, and you saw the reports of him preferring to be in the 3-hole. And then the next day he's in the 3-hole, right? Because he wants to see more pitches, and it's the same results. So, like, I don't want to hear these excuses anymore. This
I
team
don't
is too
think they're
talented and
excuses
too
from him,
good.
if I'm being honest. I think he's being asked a lot about his struggles, and he's explaining them in the best of his ability. I think if he wasn't asked, he wouldn't bring it up. I think Blake Snell brings it up. You
Okay, fair
know,
point. But still, when you're asked about these questions, like, don't give me excuses. You would tell me all the
right?
time, like, don't give me an excuse. Like, if I ask you a question about something, why are you struggling? Right? It's a valid question. Or what do you
Sure,
think your struggles are from? And he brings those things up, then that you're going to excuse route instead
right.
of just saying, like, look, I need to be much better than this. This is not who I am. And yeah, things have changed, but look, I just need to be much better, flat out.
Right. Here's the thing. I mean, we can get into it all, but it
Soto
starts
bomb tomorrow.
and
Yeah.
ends. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it starts and ends with Juan Soto and Manny Machado. Now we can continue that conversation when Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back, and maybe Tatis benefits these pieces in a significant way beginning Thursday. I really hope it happens. I really hope Tatis is any semblance of what we saw for El Paso this past weekend. And I hope Tatis has a positive impact on Soto and Machado, and they all rub off on each other. And this is a blip over 162, like you're talking about. But there is no guarantee of that. What is guaranteed is the way they've played over these 18 games has been really poor. And it starts with the offense. It doesn't start with the bullpen. We talked about that earlier. It doesn't start with the rotation. It starts with this offense. I mean, Manny Machado's OPS is way below Juan Soto's. Their combined OPS plus now. I mean, they've played really poorly. And I'm putting it nicely. They've played really poorly to start the year. Gus, thank you. Thank you guys for the supers. If you're here, please subscribe. You're on Padres content. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for your supers. Like our buddy Gus here, really is a great way to support the work we do day in and day out here on the wrap up show. We greatly appreciate it. Click the $ below the chat box. Gus says, welcome to the Soto dark side, John. Hashtag about time. And I've been saying this. Gus, I think, said the same thing yesterday. He might have said the same thing today on radio. I've been saying this, and it's unfortunate because I wasn't worried about Juan Soto, and I don't know if I'm worried, but I'm absolutely concerned
Mhm.
because I don't know how he sees his way through this. I really don't. I don't know what it's going to take for him to put consistent. It's one thing to have a glimpse of it. He hit a 450-foot home run the other day in New York, and then he's been 0 for 15 since. So
Mhm.
he's going to homer. He's going to have another hit. But can he be consistently the player he was in 2021 here in 2023? I think the jury's out on that.
Look, if you're looking at the bigger picture here, we're 18 games in an 18-game stretch in the regular season of what is he hitting?
162.
162.
Oh, what's he hitting?
No, what I mean, like
Yeah.
in a 162 game
Yeah.
season, if you're hitting what was he hitting, like 160?
160, 150. Yeah.
An 18 game stretch in a 162 game season, if you play 155 and you're hitting 150, 160, that happens to the
Yeah, it
best of
could
them.
happen.
It
Yeah.
happens. But, for him, the start of this season, and he could absolutely turn it around. I will continue to say, like,
Yep.
he could
Oh, yeah, definitely.
still win the MVP and still be a top 5
Yep.
MVP player and an all-star player, even with a shitty month of April. He can
Yep.
still do that. But the start of his season has been just a massive disappointment. I mean, there's no other way around it. I think he'll eventually be good. There's just too many good things you saw from him in Washington in the postseason, and to think that this guy is just completely pulled a 180 on us, and just now is is like Eric Hosmer 2.0. I just don't believe that.
Neither do I. And there's no comp for a 24-year-old to really have this happen unless I'm missing something. There's no comp for a player that at 22 was MVP caliber and at 24 is washed. I mean, there's no real comp for that. I mean, the trade could have been impactful. Expectations certainly could be impactful, but it really doesn't make any sense. He's got more protection in this lineup than he certainly had in Washington the last couple of years. Let me get to the super from Andrew. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you guys for the supers. Just click the $ below the chat box. We will get to your super chat comments here tonight. Andrew says Tatis will bring the spark the Padres need. I mean, it's possible. It absolutely is possible. And, you'll have a million games after Tatis returns to completely change the course of this season. So there's plenty of time, like you said. There's plenty of time for Soto, Machado, Tatis, whomever. There's plenty of time for everyone. We said, I think, when he got suspended, I mean, it's hard to put all of this on Tatis's shoulders, though.
That's the problem with this is like we said it last year, and now we're saying it again. And maybe he does fix everything. Maybe he comes back and lights the world on fire like he did in El Paso. Who knows? But I don't think it's just to just sit here and keep saying while this offense struggles with Manny Machado in it and Xander Bogaerts and Jake Cronenworth and Juan Soto that look, they just need Tatis. Like, you know how many other teams in baseball, if you said they had Bogaerts, Soto, Manny, and Cronenworth in the lineup, that
They
would
should be leading baseball in offense.
one of the best offenses in baseball. And instead, it's one of the worst offenses in baseball right now.
Right.
Keyword right now.
Yep.
Like they have too much talent to be over the course of a season. I feel like one of the lower end offenses in baseball, especially with runners in scoring position. That's the key here. This team, like, has like an epidemic for years. I looked back at my Twitter and I typed in Strand Diego, just like, when did I say that first? And it was 2 years ago. Like, this team has been horrific with runners in scoring position for the better part of 2 years now, going on 3. How is that possible with the offensive talent they have and have acquired?
Must be the hitting coach.
No, screw that. Like, you're going on your 3rd straight year. I hope it doesn't, it's 18 games, okay? But you're going on your 3rd straight year where you have a shit team with runners in scoring position. You can't have life depend on it. And you have moments, right? But as a whole, you're just like bottom half of the league. Like, what? How is that possible?
It's hard to figure out. A couple of people saying in terms of, comps for what Soto's going through, Bellinger, Yelich. Here's the difference. Both had seismic injuries that at the time he didn't necessarily know what would transpire on the other side. But Yelich and Bellinger have gone through injuries that Juan Soto thankfully has not experienced. You can't tell me a calf and an oblique have changed Juan Soto for forever. Not to mention he didn't have the calf or the oblique last year. Was it the camel? Did the camel change the course of his career?
The camel changed everything.
On Family Day?
I mean, his time in a Padres uniform, if you have you seen, those things on like sports and they're like player A and player B and like you compare them, right? And his time in Washington, he had a 940 plus OPS. And his time in San Diego, he can't even crack an 800 OPS.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're approaching what 300
half a season,
330 at bats now. Yeah, half a season with Juan Soto, and the dude is hitting. I mean, he's at like average level at best.
No, he's been below. I mean, the only reason he's been average is because he gets on base, which is has value. I mean, he scored 3 runs on Saturday when they won the game without a hit. He scored 3 runs, so it has value. But no, he's been below average, and you wonder if Peter Seidler would have trepidations about even offering him the type of contract the Nationals offered him 2 years ago. You have to ask yourself that. Would the Padres even put themselves in a position right now with everything that we know and put all those eggs in that basket, or would they wait on it?
I think if you gave every single one of them truth serum, they would say they would prefer Ohtani over Soto at this moment in time.
Well, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't, right? I mean, how could you possibly say anything other than that?
Yeah.
Just based on what these players have accomplished on the field over the last 2 years. I mean, how could you say anything other than that?
Right. No, and look, we've started this whole thing of talking about Juan Soto and Juan Soto. Manny Machado's been worse.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like way worse than Juan Soto this year.
The difference is Machado showed it on field last year in a Padres uniform and Soto didn't. So Machado has cover, in my opinion, to buy him more time than Soto.
No, I agree. And a lot of times people just want to go with, and look, Manny posts every year. All right. With that being said, the here and now, the first 18 games of this season, Manny Machado has been worse than Juan Soto.
He's got a 600 OPS. I mean, that's awful.
Yeah, he's not
hitting with power, not getting on base,
not coming up clutch. It's the first 18 games of this year have been horrific for Manny. Plain and simple.
I mean, he needs a day off. I'll say it right now. So one of these two guys has to sit. I mean, what are you waiting for? You're going to wait for the 5 off days in 15 days? I mean, or you can watch them go over every day. I mean, I've watched it the last 5 days. They don't hit.
Yeah, and what did we talk about? Or what did Kevin Acey was on, and he was like talking about this stretch at the start of the season, how many games they had in a row, right? 24 of 25, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was gonna be a tough stretch for this team.
It's been tough, all right.
But just looking at this thing in, what's the saying? A vacuum. Just looking at the season in a vacuum right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have Manny Machado and Juan Soto, your 2-3 hitters, your best offensive players, and they have been. I mean, you look at the stats here; they've been some of the worst offensive players in baseball. Is those two guys?
I mean, certainly on the team. Somehow Soto
for the
still
position
has
for the position that they're in. For the position they're in.
Yeah, for what's expected of them, they've been as disappointing as any two players in baseball. I agree with that.
At this point, yes.
Yeah, Carson, thank you for the super. Thank you guys for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. We'll get to all of them tonight. Padres lose at home to Atlanta, kicking off a 3-game series 2-0. They'll play game 2 on Tuesday. They'll travel to Arizona Thursday, where Fernando Tatis Jr. will return and be in the lineup Thursday, according to Kevin Acey. Carson says, what makes some offenses inconsistent? Well, that's a question about the history of the Padres organization. I mean, what is it? I mean, I think they're pressing. Bob Melvin says they're not pressing. They're playing in front of 45,000 people every night. Not tonight, but the first 10 games, they had 8 sellouts. I think they're trying to do a little bit too much, and it's not going well. And here's the other thing. It's not that they're never, they've had men on base. They're not getting a ton of hits, but they've had men on base. They're just not hitting with men in scoring position. Look at yesterday. First and third, nobody out in the first inning. They don't score. Okay, that should never happen for 3, 4, and 5 ever with the Padres. Then runner at third, 1 out in the second inning. Don't score. Bases loaded in the ninth inning for Trent Grisham. He takes a called third strike on a 3-2 pitch. I saw some ridiculous tweet that said, like, in the history of baseball, that's rarely ever happened with the bases loaded and the count full. Someone take a 3-2 pitch for a strike. So it's just, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a cacophony of things. It's a myriad of things. It's a million things. And it's the San Diego Padres right now.
So this is what Manny said after the game. AJ Caswell just tweeted this. He said, quote, "I'd rather this happen now than down the road." And when asked for anyone who would read too much into 18 games, he said, "It's just don't jump on the bandwagon later when we start fucking raking and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing."
Ooh, this sounds like something that Jim would now respond to on Twitter and then be dragged on for the next 5 months. I'd rather this happen now than down the road, like you said. And for anyone who would read too much into 18 games, it's just don't jump on the bandwagon later on when we start effing raking and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. It's that's an amazing Manny Machado quote. And again, I prefer that quote to the, hey, I understand it. And, we're going to figure it out. And yeah, it's okay. I mean, this is real and authentic, and it's who Manny Machado is. It's why he trends every single night on social media. I mean, he's probably right, Jim. He knows more than we do. Struggling for 18 days doesn't mean you're going to struggle for 162. He's got the ultimate faith in himself. And, betting on Manny Machado typically has worked out pretty well. I mean, I wouldn't have said it the same way, but Manny Machado is a unique unicorn in this sport.
And we just said that, like in the course of a 162 game season, 18 game stretch where you're hitting like 160 or whatever the case may be, it happens to the best of them. But it's different when it's the start of your season, when it's the first 18 games, right? When you have come out and you are 8-10 to start the year, that's when it starts looking like this is never going to end. If they came out hot and instead they were, I'm saying, like 12-6, right? And Manny's on fire and Soto's on fire and everything's great. And then they have an 18 game stretch. Well, it's like, well, it's fine. We already saw it. But when you don't see it and you're waiting for it and you keep waiting for it, it just reminds me of back in the day. Like, all we heard was, hey, the offense is going to get going. The offense is going to go, and it never got going. And I just don't want that to be the case with this team. I don't think it will be. It shouldn't be. I mean, with Tatis is back, like, I mean, there's literally no excuses then. I mean, you have.
I mean, there can't be any. There shouldn't be excuses now. They were in the
I know.
NLCS last year without Fernando Tatis Jr. and they didn't have
I
Xander
know.
Bogaerts.
I know.
You
And
know,
so
I
with that,
mean,
it's like
listen, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the
it's an
quote. But
amazing
here's the thing:
quote.
when you say something like that, you just have to back it up. And guess what? They got a lot of time to back it up. It doesn't have to hit tomorrow for that to be proven accurate. I mean, he's got so much time. I really believe, and I've been feeling this since the first day of the season. It's almost like I don't excuse this, but it's almost like they've treated these first 20 games like, we'll get Tatis and Musgrove. It's almost like they don't even count to this team to some extent. They've shown very little to show you that this matters right now. They had the one walk off the back-to-back home runs. That was nice. But there haven't been that many like highlight reel, unbelievable, incredible moments out of these 3 weeks. There just haven't, unless I'm missing something. They had a nice series in Atlanta, when Nelson Cruz had 100 RBIs. They had the Jake Cronenworth game the other day when he had 100 RBIs. I mean, other than that, it's like, I don't know. They haven't shown me a lot. It's almost like they're just waiting like we are. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Thursday. That's what I'm waiting for. I have no interest in watching this team tomorrow or Wednesday. I just don't, based on the way they're playing. We're going to do it. Hopefully they need to win one of these next 2 games. You don't want to go 8-12 and have lost, 8 of 9 or something overall. Just bad baseball. So go find a way to win one of these games and then see if you can play better baseball with Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, just this shouldn't be happening with Manny and Soto on your team and Bogaerts. I mean, Bogaerts has been all bit as advertised. I mean, Bogaerts has been your best player by far, by a fucking mile.
Oh, yeah. It's not even close.
Not even close.
Your second
And
best player is like 100 years old. It's Nelson Cruz.
right. So you have your 2 guys that, okay, Manny, you want me to go there again? All right. If you want let's go. Fucking be fucking Manny Machado. All right.
Do you see it as this? I mean, Pedro, thanks for hanging out, man. And thanks for the call on the radio today. He says he's dissing the fan base. What's to love in that quote? Do you see it that way? Is he? I think players use certain things as motivation, chip on the shoulder, us against the world, me against them. I could see how you could read it like that. I think he's trying to say, it's funny because it's the same guy that said, hey, you can boo me. That keeps us accountable. I'm paraphrasing. He said that right before the start of the season. And now he's saying, yeah, don't jump on the bandwagon later when we start raking. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's using it as his own motivation. I understand what you're saying. I think he's trying to motivate himself when he says something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Manny says a lot of things, and his play has definitely backed up, everything that he's said over the course of his career. Like, he's on the track to be a Hall of Famer.
Sure.
I mean, when that's the case, you can say a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you just kind of just waiting for it.
Or there's this. That's a good point from Gus. That's an absolutely great point. He's literally speaking with the media when he says that. And sometimes players construe the media differently than their jobs. I don't think
Dude, he
AJ
hates the
Cassavell
media.
could care less about.
He's not a big media guy. Like, you see how he treats Kevin. Like, you just see how he just is. Like, he's just
That's
not
what
a
I'm saying.
he's just
So
not a
maybe,
media guy. He's like, fuck you guys.
yeah. So maybe there's some of that in there because they are the ones asking and he's the one responding, and it becomes kind of a personal relationship. I mean, you and the media, yeah, it's like a what's the word I'm looking for? I mean,
It's
the
a
media,
gate. It's
yeah,
a bridge to the fan base.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting quote, especially on April 17th. It tells you a little bit about the way they've played over the first 3 weeks of the season. Who would have ever thought that? April 17th, Manny Machado is saying this. Don't jump on the bandwagon later on when we start effing raking and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. That's April 17th. What does May 17th have for us?
I mean, I don't know, dude. It's frustrating as hell. I mean, Padres fans must be losing their minds, and I see it all on social media because you expected this team to win 100 games. with talent they have, and they can still do that. But you're asking now like of massive, massive hot streaks.
You're saying for what, Soto Machado?
No, it's like winning streaks. Like I'm saying, like this team fan base expected them to win like around 100 games.
You're saying to get to 100? It's so
Yeah.
early though, man.
I know,
I'm
I
not
get
saying
it, I
that.
know.
Forget 100 for a second. They can still win a lot of games.
No, I know.
You
And
know,
I think didn't the 98 team go like, I mean, they sucked in September. They were shit in September.
which means they must have been on pace for, 100 and something wins through August.
And last year, the Padres, I mean, started out blistering hot. I think they're like
Yep.
the best record in baseball.
Yep.
And they went a couple games under 500 the rest of the way.
For 4 months, and then they turned it on the last 2 weeks. They were like 11-3.
Right.
Heading into the postseason. Let me get to this from our buddy Retod. What's going on, man? Thank you for the very generous super. We do appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Please subscribe.
Super.
Smash the like button. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. It is a great way to support the work we do on the wrap-up show. He says, it's a rally super, which I think did work a little bit in 2022. If anyone wants to contribute to follow suit with Retod, he says, this is for a rally. Let's go. This team is supposed to be putting up 7 to 10 runs per game. I have zero faith they will rally right now. Appreciate the show. We appreciate you. Maybe it turns the tide. I mean, they haven't scored in 18 innings. And not that the other teams really have. I mean, yesterday, the only run scored on like a disengagement and a stolen base, really thrilling. And then today, one swing. Austin Riley hit a ball. What did he hit? 340 feet, maybe?
Fucking just crushed it, dude.
Did he? It was just over the left field wall.
Yeah, but I mean, it came off the bat at like 110 miles an hour.
Okay, fair. So, I mean, but it's not like they're losing 10-0 every single night. I mean, there's been one run-producing hit the last 2 days at Petco Park. It was Riley's home run because yesterday was the sac fly. So,
yeah,
it's hard to hit at freaking Petco. And it's 58 and freaking Marine Land.
Freaking cold there, man. Hold on. I just saw this name brought up in the chat, and I have to look at what he's doing. Okay, guys. Okay. Josh Bell is hitting 190 this year with a 632 OPS.
Doing nothing.
Yeah. And then Brandon Drury.
Doing nothing.
The Angels. Yeah, he's hitting 196.
Yeah, of course. None of these guys are doing anything.
They come to the Padres and they just forget how to play baseball.
I mean, not freaking Xander Bogaerts.
He's like the one. He's like so far right now. I mean, Manny Machado also, but like the start, like Manny's first year with the Padres was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Xander Bogaerts so far has been all-star player for this.
Yep, definitely. He has. He's always on base. I mean, he's got an 11-game hit streak right now. He's reached base safely, I think, in every game. I mean, what else could you ask of? How can you get Xander Bogaerts consistently on base for Manny Machado and Juan Soto not score runs? Huh?
Like never. Like Bogaerts has. I mean, Bogaerts has what? He's hit safely or got on a base like in almost every game this year.
No, every game. Yeah.
Yeah, every game.
Every single one. That's like pretty good. Unfortunately, they score 0 runs. I mean, I haven't looked up the numbers because I don't care to after 18 games, but this offense has to be among the worst in baseball. Can someone look that up? Can you give me whatever average runs per game? Give me something. I mean, prove me right that this has to be one of the worst offenses in baseball right now. Let's thank Mark Nimitz for his support of one of the worst offenses in baseball through April 17th. He's the title sponsor of the wrap-up show. He's a great insurance agent. We always tell you if you have an insurance need, the first person to get in contact with is Mark Nimitz. Click the description down below on YouTube. You can get to Mark Nimitz's website. Here it is. You can get a quote online. He can save you $750 or more just by switching your insurance to him, whether it's a homeowner's insurance. I've got my homeowner's policy through Mark. I've got an earthquake insurance policy through Mark. I have a life insurance policy I recently picked up through Mark, and he's made everything so seamless and easy. He's got great service and communication. He's a lifelong Padres fan and a lifelong San Diegan that has supported this channel since day one. So if you are a supporter of this channel and you want to support a local business and you have any insurance need, whether it's a renewal or a new insurance policy, and you want to save money, please get in contact with Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, all his information is above my head, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. When you reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you.
All right, thank you, Mark. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Has anyone given me the data that I'm looking for, which is that this offense sucks right now? I mean,
You don't need to look at any
do I
data.
need to look it up? That's my point. I'm
No,
like, I don't need
there's
to
no
look it
point.
up.
You see it with your own 2 eyes.
I mean,
You
okay,
watch
thank you,
this.
Jeremy. 26th in batting average. Give me a break. Tatis, Soto, Bogarts, Cronenworth.
What's this
Give me a
team?
break.
What is this team hitting in with runners in scoring position? If
Under
they're not,
200.
if they're no, I mean, where they rank in baseball?
Worse than the National League. So I don't know where it ranks in baseball, but they were worse than the National League, and it's not getting better.
That to me is the biggest issue. I mean, this team could hit 220 as a team, but I mean, with hitting with runners in scoring position, if you can't do that and you're the bottom of the league, I,
Okay,
lowest batting average,
they're
lowest.
20th in WRC plus, right? Runs created. If they were 18th heading into today, I'm going to put them at 20th. They didn't score.
Right.
Now 21st in OPS. It's blah. Lowest batting average with runners in scoring position in baseball, according to Malachi. 231 average as a team. There's no shift. I mean, why?
Right.
Because it's cold? I mean, okay, it's cold. I mean, so what? It's cold in the Midwest every year. It's cold in the Northeast every year. Because it's gray?
Yeah. And again, you hope that in even just a week and a half from now, in 2 weeks, right? We're saying, remember that 8-10 start and they couldn't hit.
Right.
And at the end of the year, hopefully we're looking back and we're laughing at ourselves.
Laughing about this. Like, how'd they win 101 games after that 8-10 start?
And they went 8-10 with like the worst batting average in baseball and they couldn't hit with runners in scoring position for all of April. What the fuck?
I mean, listen, it's funny. We joke about this, but we're like all human beings. Weather's been bad. But that is
good
the
in
worst
Cabo.
excuse in the world. What's that?
The weather was great in Cabo.
I bet it was.
If
It wasn't in San Diego.
Dude, if the Padres played in Cabo, they would score a lot of runs. I guarantee
I bet
that.
they would. I think they'll score in Mexico City. I think they'll score in Phoenix. I think they'll score at Wrigley Field next week. I hope. All three of those places. And I'm with you, JD. JD's third. We'll be fine. But here's the thing: we're there. I mean, I'm going to keep saying it now because it's like, well, I mean, nothing's going to happen over the next 2 days that's going to change anyone's opinion. So we're waiting on Tatis. That's what we're doing right now. We're waiting on Musgrove. We're waiting on Suarez. That's what I think Padres fans are doing. Is this for the viewers, Jonas, or is it for us?
We're fine.
We're fine, dude. This is our freaking. I could do this for 24 hours a day. We are therapists for each other.
Yeah, we're here for you. We're
I mean, dude, this is.
I'm not gonna lose. I mean, everyone's like, Jim, lose your mind, lose your. No,
I can't do it yet.
No.
And this is about as much as I can lose my mind in April, and I'm slightly losing my mind.
If this team is 2 games under 500, the trade deadline, I'll lose my shit.
They can still make the playoffs. That's the funny thing. Nick, thank you for the super. Thank you, guys. Click the $ below the chat box if you want to contribute. If you have a question, a comment, something we haven't gotten to. If you just want to support the channel, click the $ below the chat box. He said, did winning the home run derby last year ruin Soto? I don't think so. I mean, the next year with an off season, and he hit in spring training in the WBC.
Dude, he raked in spring training.
And he had some big hits in the postseason.
Yeah, he had some huge hits versus the Dodgers and the Mets and the Phillies, and he was heating up, game 4 and 5. He homered in back-to-back nights.
Right.
Like, we've seen it in little spurts, just, the consistency from Juan Soto. We're back to the, this guy's looking for a walk than a hit. Like, we're back there.
I mean, Soto is hunting walks. Hunting walks does not get you out of a slump. No. He is hunting walks. Like, can't walk your way off the island, right? So he somehow had that ability to walk and hit.
And he's
coming up.
And by doing that, it's fucking him up. Because he's hunting for a walk and he's looking for balls instead of looking for a pitch to drive.
It's really weird. And by the way, Jonas was saying, haha, therapy for the players. Yeah, maybe.
Dude, if hey, look, Padres fans, if you think that it's frustrating for you, imagine these dudes. They are going through the fucking ringer right now. I mean, imagine being Juan Soto right now. He's playing the
I know.
worst baseball of his entire career
And
since joining the Padres.
you're playing a game of roulette with $300 million on the line.
And you turned down a $400+ million contract.
Right.
And for the last 4 months regular season time, or I guess 2.5 months regular season time, you have played the worst baseball of your career.
Oh yeah. Of his career.
He is. You think all Padres fans are in straitjackets? This dude's probably going home at night like can't sleep.
Which I think is good and bad. I'm sure they are. I'm sure Manny Machado wears this. I'm sure Juan Soto overly thinks about this. To some extent, you almost wonder if they're putting too much pressure on themselves, specifically Soto. And is that advantageous for him to get out of this?
And dude, you don't need to do that. Like, you don't need to be the Superman on this team. You have so many guys around you. And I just hope that when Tatis comes back, he doesn't feel like he needs to do that too. Because what's going to happen is the second Tatis comes back, what is every single fan base, including us, going to expect from him? To go 12 for 15 with 6 homers, like he did in El Paso. And when he goes 0 for 4s with 2 strikeouts on his first game back in Arizona, people were like, what the fuck?
You saw this quote, right? It was in Chelsea's article. It was to MLB.com. This isn't the exact quote, but something along the line of I'm being told what's wrong, but nobody has an answer. So people really have been running circles around what he meant. Is he taking a shot at the organization or the coaching staff? Is he taking a shot at himself and saying, I'm running myself in circles, trying to figure this out?
Okay.
But it's, again, there's some really weird Easter eggs out there or carrots out there with Soto. Oh, we heard he might want to be out east, right? On the East Coast before. Since the trade, look at what's happened.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, John. I don't give a shit about that right now because there's 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah, true.
He's not a free agent next week. He has all of this season.
But I'm saying, has this
all of next year? It shouldn't.
Well, I get it.
He's not an impending free agent. That's the thing. He's not a free agent this year. He's on this team for 2 more seasons.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't 2024. So I don't care about, hey, he prefers these. Who cares? And it did the hitting coach in Washington, whoever that guy was he's the secret whisperer?
Then why not give that hitting coach $400 million if that's the case?
I mean, we talked about this, last year with whoever the hitting coach was for the Padres. What's his name? Knows? The guy that went to Michigan.
Dude from freaking the Giants who was 10 years old.
Yeah, he's 20 years old. He couldn't drink or something. I don't know, but
what's the guy's name? Someone put it in the chat.
Matt.
It was a weird name with a weird last name.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Everyone blamed vowels or something.
Yeah, everyone blamed him.
Michael
Berdar. Yeah, everyone blamed him. And you're like, dude, we said this multiple times. It's Juan Soto. It's Manny Machado. I think these guys know more about hitting than Michael Berdar.
Right. Yeah, I'm agreeing.
And you don't think Juan Soto has other people other than just the coaching staff that helps him with his swing?
I mean, I would like to think he does.
I think he knows a couple people around baseball where he can just send them a video of him and they can be like, hey, you're doing this.
Dude, Chelsea Jane said today, she wrote about it, his 2021 stance and 2023 stance are near identical. Here's the issue. Here is what Chelsea wrote, and she talked to Juan Soto yesterday.
Mindset.
No, he claims it's mechanical. It's not mental, and that he's pulling everything. He's out in front, even though he's telling himself that he should be hitting the ball towards the shortstop. He's hitting it down the right field line more than ever in his career. He was under 40% pull hitter in DC. He's over 50% pull hitter right now in San Diego. Why? We don't know. But that's accurate. That's factual. Now, how can that be rectified or fixed? Goes back to that quote. Who's going to fix this? And how can it be fixed?
It's almost like a golfer, like Tiger, when he went through his injuries. I'm not saying Juan Soto went through any injuries, but he had to completely change his swing, and it took a long time. And for a baseball player, if you're mechanically off, it just feels like you're thinking too much, and
Yep.
you're concentrating on like pulling your front side or whatever the case
Yep.
may be, instead of reacting see ball, hit ball. Like that's like the thing here where maybe
Too
he's
much
not just
thinking.
too much thinking, and he's not just up there at the plate, see ball, hit ball. And then
Yep.
he's looking for walks
It's a good point.
because he's not confident in his swing.
That's a great point. Let me get to the super from Vector. Thank you, Vector. He was at the game tonight. Thank you, Vector, for your support. He says, there tonight, bump to see, no fight. This is always a tricky point when a team doesn't score. Is it because they lacked, effort or fight? I think Max Fried deserves some credit.
Dude's a freaking top. I mean, he can be one of the best pitchers in baseball.
He can.
So.
He hadn't pitched since opening day, but I agree. I mean, they didn't make him work much. He didn't throw a lot of pitches. I'm trying to think about the chances they had in this game. They were all with 2 outs, right? I think first and third in the first inning with 2 outs. Cronenworth rolls over or hits a ball weakly. Maybe second inning, they had a chance with men in scoring position. The Machado ball was hit well. First and second, 1 out in the 8th inning, trailing 2-0. That's your best chance, maybe to tie it or take a lead. And he rips the ball up the middle, but it's gloved at second, and it starts an inning-ending double play. Just not a good night, Vector, to your point. I mean, just not a good homestand, not a good year. They have not played well at home in any way, shape, or form. They just have not played well at home. And hopefully it changes beginning tomorrow.
Yeah.
That one, Homie's Garage. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you guys for the supers. Just click the $ below the chat box. We do appreciate it. We really do. He says Soto looking like Hosmer. What, grounding out to second?
Like I'm not joking you tonight. I looked down for a brief second, and I saw a little dribbler in front of the mound from Soto, and I had to rewind it because I'm like, did this motherfucker just bunt? Because it looked like
right. Like he's that much in a funk that he's bunting to get on.
I was like, did he just try to bunt to get on? Thank God he
Man.
didn't. I mean, it was a swinging bunt, but there was a part of me for a brief second there, as I was rewinding it to watch what happened. I'm like, did he just bunt? And I would have lost my shit if he did. I would have absolutely lost my shit.
That would make no sense.
If he bunted there. Thankfully he didn't. He's just going through it, man. He is going through the freaking ringer right now.
We're going to get to this after Aura, okay? Because Jim, on his trip to Cabo, was what's the right word? Pursued by swingers? Or
I do. I have to tell the story.
Okay, so we're going to get to that in a moment. Padres lose tonight to the Braves. This might be the best part of the wrap-up show about to come about Jim being, I don't know, picked up by swingers. Okay, but before we get to that, let's thank our partner here on the wrap-up show. And we can't do this without your support of our partners. Simple as that. So please do support our partners. That's the way we're able to do this day in and day out. Like Aura, their co-founder Will, San Diegan, huge Padres fan. Big supporter of this channel for well over a year right now. They've got great plant-based nutritional products, proteins that you can take every single day if you're working out, pre-workout supplements. Obviously, the probiotic, I tell you about it all the time. I've taken one every single day for about a year now. Great for digestion, heart health, mental clarity. There's a million reasons to take a probiotic. They've got omega-3 oils. If you're taking a fish oil, you can take the omega-3 oil from Aura. They have sleep pills, immunity pills, like something literally for everyone. And an amazing company based here in San Diego, offices in Liberty Station. Their co-founder, Will, has been a huge supporter of the work that we're doing. So if you support our channel, please make sure to check out Aura's website. There's a link down below on YouTube. Just click description. Also, you can shop as you watch the wrap-up show, of course. Go to ora.organic or click the link down below on YouTube at ora.organic. Again, affordable plant-based nutritional products for yourself, your family, your friends. And again, if you support this channel, please support our partners like Aura.
Yeah, go there right now, www.aura.organic. All their products are plant-based and organics, the cleanest on the market. The pre-workout that I have, raspberry lemonade flavor, not only does it taste delicious, but the pre-workout gives you all the energy you need for your workouts without giving you that crash that pretty much all their pre-workouts give you. So go there right now, www.aura.organic. Get some of their products, and you will thank us later.
You will thank us later. All right, so you're in Cabo. It's whatever night it was. And what happens? A
Friday
couple
night?
comes up to you and Aaron and proposes what?
It wasn't a couple. So, okay. You know how it is at resorts. For longer you stay, you see the same people over and over again.
Sure.
You like, oh, it's almost like an episode. You're living an episode of White Lotus, almost, right? You're like, oh,
Okay.
that you see
That's
that
weird.
couple, you see that. I know that's why I was very
Mhm.
weird. You see that group of people, that group of people, and these group of people. There's probably like 6 of them, right? The first night we see them at the bar, and there are 3 women that weren't a part of this group, and they were at the bar.
Okay.
And then two of the guys went over to those women and like talked to them for a little bit, and then they all left together. Okay.
So 3 women, 2 guys.
3 women, 2 guys. But these 2 guys that went over to those 3 women, they were with it looked like their wives and then another couple. So it was like, 3 couples, right? And it was just really weird. We're like, what the I noticed it. Aaron didn't really, but I was like, that's interesting.
Mhm.
The next night, kind of the same thing happens, right? They go and they're talking to other couples and stuff like that, and then they all leave together. I'm like, that's very weird. Then this night that the guy from this group approached me and Aaron, he was wasted, but he came over to me and Aaron and he was like rubbing my back
Your
and like,
what?
yeah, and then he started like touching Aaron and I'm like, whoa, dude. Like, and then he started showing us pictures on his phone and he was like, look at my little kid. I love him to death. And as he's scrolling his phone, I see like just a bunch of naked, like just him with like these chick all naked, right? And he's like commenting on this. He's like, "Oh, no, that can't look at that one." Oh, but then he would like show us, He's like, "Can't look at that one." Oh, but look at that. And like, it was just
So it's
like,
almost like part of the like game he plays to like lure in
yeah. And
like
then
swingers.
he's like, "Hey, we should get a drink. We should get a drink." And we're like, "What the fuck?" And then the kicker where we started like this is when me and Aaron both looked at each other. We're like, "What?" His buddy came up to us and like tapped him on the back and like whispered to him, but like whispered loud enough that we could hear. He said, "Ask him the question." And we're like, and this guy starts talking to us. And then me and Aaron finally kind of like just like dipped on this because he like turned to his friends and me and Aaron kind of like dipped away and like kind of like left, right? And we
Mhm.
immediately looked at each other and go, that guy was a swinger, like 100%, right? Like it just felt, you could feel it. You felt it. Something was going on. Something was up there.
So what did you guys say?
Well, he never like officially asked us to do anything,
Right.
but the vibe was very swinger vibe.
So did you see this group again after this?
We did, but no contact was made. Like not like we didn't say anything to them because this guy was wasted. But uh, but yeah, I just feel what's going on with this offense. I just yeah, that definitely I could definitely swingers.
Jim the Slump Buster. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I don't know what to
definite
say
swingers.
about that.
Definite swingers. I could just feel it. I just felt and the pictures on his phone was like, holy shit,
Yeah,
dude.
but, like, what is that about?
I don't know. Like, and it was just all this was
Hey, let
all
me
in
show
the
you my kid, but between the picture of my kid is like 30, like,
and like he was
freaking, like
it was like in the hotel room and they're like all naked. I'm just like, what the fuck? There's a lot.
Padres lost tonight.
Yeah, Padres lost tonight.
2-0.
Yeah.
Um, this is utter ridiculousness, is what it is. Will this end? Not Jim swinging days, but will this end? Long story short, Jim went by himself with it. Is this going to end tomorrow? I mean, I'm not overly optimistic when Spencer Strider will be on the mound tomorrow opposite Blake Snell. That tomorrow's the night it all turns.
This is the winner of the night, Baratoro. Jim doing
Yeah.
more swinging than the Padres.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, you've been engaged now for a couple of weeks. Maybe you got to spice things up.
Yeah, really. We need to spice things up. Yeah.
Jim's story was more interesting than the Padres game today. It really was.
Yeah.
Rich says this ends tomorrow.
What ends tomorrow? Like the world?
No, hopefully this freaking play. I mean, what are
Like
they?
we're all
1-5 in their last 6. I mean, Blake Snell's been awful. Can he
Yeah.
pitch terribly in marine layer 60-degree weather in San Diego? It's almost hard to do. Spencer Strider's been good. So that's tomorrow at 6:40. And then Wednesday, you've got the day game. Charlie Morton, who's still pitching well at his age. Nick Martinez for the Padres. Then off to the road and, maybe get healthy with Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, that is going to be an absolute circus. Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, that's going to be a complete circus Thursday.
It was today.
I don't know if that was a circus, dude. It was like 2 people there watching him stretch.
Everyone took a video. Everyone's got to take video of Tatis stretching.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was a circus, but I mean, I hope it's a circus. I mean, I just hope they're inspired by his return. I hope that is the moment that is necessary to get this team moving in the right direction. Because right now it seems like they're stuck in like quicksand or something. It just doesn't look good.
I mean, you hope that is the case, but at the same time, it should have never been the case. We should have never sat here 20 games in saying that Tatis needs to be that spark plug.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is the spark plug because he was when he's healthy out there, but the team wasn't this good when, offensively when Tatis was playing. Tatis was the guy. You have multiple guys on this team now. And if anything, we should have been talking about, can you imagine this offense when Tatis gets back? Holy shit. Instead, we're saying, I hope Tatis saves the day.
I know. It's a good point. I mean, I feel a little bit like this. It's like I'm hopeful for Tuesday and Wednesday, but I'm not overly hopeful. I hope they prove me wrong. Now, of course, you're taking 10-10 through 20 games, but you got to win 2 games against the Braves, who have lost 1 time this year, other than that 3-game losing streak to the Padres. I mean, the Braves are good. They're 13-4, and they got good starting pitching, and their lineup is deep. And right now, it just seems like the Padres are in a funk that's going to be tough to get out of, but hopefully that changes tomorrow. And by the way, Blake Snell, you are overly due to go 5 2/3 innings, allowing 1 run. So please have that be tomorrow. Although allowing 1 run might not be good enough because the Padres just cannot score right now. They just simply cannot score for whatever reason right now. Okay, can you take that banner down? How come I don't know how to do that?
Okay,
because I'm an idiot.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna teach John how to use StreamYard because we've been only using it for 2 years.
Where is it?
All right, you go to banners.
Yeah.
And you.
I'm on brand.
Oh my god.
And then do I click it off? Oh, look at that. That's so easy.
Wow. John can do it.
I can do it. Where's the underdog thing? I found it.
Oh my god.
It's not labeled underdog. It's labeled like 327F6A blah 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 blah.
Hey, let me rename it.
All right. I would advise taking in the higher lower pick'em games, take lower with the Padres. And you can make a lot of money right now in underdog fantasy. Okay. Use promo code PODSWRAP and you will get a deposit match up to $100. Promo code PADSWRAP. Promo code PODSWRAP. Get a 2-time deposit match. So if you deposit $100, you get $100. If you deposit $10, you get $10, so on and so forth. That is up to $100. Go to underdogfantasy.com. You can play Pick'em daily contesting. You can do daily MLB contesting with their drafts. It's the best place to be playing fantasy sports right now because there's just no league management aspect. You draft, set it and forget it. I think Ron Pump, what's the guy's name? You're not going to know this. The guy that came up with like you put the chicken in an oven, an infomercial. He said, set it and forget it. What's the guy's name? Ron Popeil or something? Ron Popeil. Set it and forget it. You just draft and that's it. And then you win.
I don't know.
There's no trades. There's no waivers. There's no lineup setting. So underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code PODSWRAP. Great way to support this channel. You can play in fantasy contests with us. Underdogfantasy.com. Promo code PODSWRAP. Get a deposit match up to $100. All right. Anything else? Well, let me get to this super here from our buddy Jake, who is in Phoenix, who is going to be there, right? Yeah, okay. So thank you, Jake. This could be what we need. Jake is a member. He's also a supporter. And thank you for your super chat. He says he's going to the 420 game, Tatis return game for his birthday. Okay, amazing. That'll be Thursday. I got to imagine there's going to be thousands of Padres fans in Arizona on Thursday.
I would assume, yeah.
Now, Arizona happens to be the greatest baseball team ever created. Right now,
those pesky Arizona Diamondbacks.
They got a 2.5 game lead on the Padres, 18 games into the season. Can that be overcome?
Insurmountable lead.
That's the good thing. I mean, nobody's running away with anything. They're 10-7. So,
Dodgers lost tonight again.
Yeah, Dodgers are under 500.
Giants are going to be the worst team in baseball this year.
Giants are bad. Rockies are awful.
Rockies are horrific.
So you just need a good week. Get Tatis back. Go 5-2 1 week. Go 6-1 one week. And
here's all you need to know: the Rockies, they have 5 wins on the year. Two of them are against the Padres.
First 2 days of the season.
You're like, what?
Yeah, since then they're 3-12. Good point. They've been awful.
It's just a shitty start. Just a shitty start to the season.
Thank you again, Jake. Seriously, and enjoy it. Happy early birthday and enjoy Thursday. That should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the Padres play well for you. Interesting point from Michael before we get out of here, Jim. This idea, and thank you for your membership, Michael. This idea that maybe the Padres need a spark. Maybe it would be advantageous if something happens in some game. Like, give me something interesting. I don't know if I want to see anyone throw Tatis because I don't want to see this guy get hurt.
No.
But something to get them going. Do they really need anything? I mean, what should get them going is their $300 million payroll.
Dude,
and the return of Tatis.
Bro, didn't they score 10 runs on Saturday?
Was it 10 or 8?
They scored 10 runs on Saturday.
That's great. What about the other games?
So when we're talking about they need a spark, is a 10-run, game not enough to like create some type of momentum? I mean, we're talking about, hey, this team needs a spark. They scored 10 runs on Saturday, and then they got shut out on Sunday and shut out tonight. So what is it?
What is it?
Like, it doesn't make don't like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this team needs a spark. They need something. They just scored 10 runs. You don't think that's like something that they can use as a spark?
I mean, I don't think the spark is like, hey, we scored 10 runs. That was the Jake Cronenworth game. It was a career game.
Great. And then Cronenworth's done what since?
Exactly. So I'm saying it's like, okay, I mean, what are we? I don't even know, dude. I can't figure this out. I cannot figure this out. I think right now my only guess is, my only solution is, Tatis is coming back Thursday. Maybe that fixes everything. But that's like saying that, hey, I got a bad relationship with my girlfriend. Maybe go to Cabo fixes everything. Bad example.
or like, I have a bad relationship with my girlfriend. They just have a baby.
Right. Like, yeah, that'll solve all the issues.
Solve everything.
That literally makes things 1,000 times harder.
Whoa.
What are you listening to?
Sorry.
Let me get to this here from our buddy Jake. Thank you again, Jake. He says, also, my old Twitter got banned, so new is @13AZ Padres fan. Okay, that was you. I'm wondering. Someone was like, "Yeah, hey, it's Jake." Like, I'm like, who the hell is this? It's you. Okay, it's by Bitcoin Daily, Jake. I didn't realize that. Okay, I'll follow you back, Jake. Tag us on Twitter. Tag me and Jim. We'll follow you back. Apologies. Why'd you get banned?
Probably. I mean, Jake, what were you doing?
Yeah, what were you doing, man?
I mean,
all right. Is that it? Jim, are you back on the radio tomorrow? You can take your 300th consecutive day off.
I think, when you get back from a vacation, how you always say, I need a vacation for my vacation.
Oh, here we go.
I think I might call in tomorrow and just use have another day of rest.
I will legitimately tell our boss to get rid of you if you do that.
Fire Jim.
Oh
gosh.
No, Jim will be back tomorrow. And we'll talk more about this. I mean, can you fix the Padres? 70470 start it with team. That's what we can start the show off with at 3:00 tomorrow.
70470. What do you got?
Jeez. All right, guys. Thank you. Please subscribe. We're here for you. Good days and bad days. There's going to be a lot of good days this summer. We promise. Today's not one of them. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you're here on replay, we appreciate the super thanks. Great way to support the work we're doing here on the channel. Please support our partners as well. We're going to get to HBVV, BRBF in a minute. Please support Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. If you have insurance needs, Mark is your guy. He can save you $750 or more on your insurance. Click the description down below. You can get a link to Mark Nimitz's website. He's a title sponsor. He is the title sponsor of the Wrap-Up Show and a huge supporter of this channel. Please support Ora, ORA.organic. If you're looking to get healthier, they have plant-based nutritional products. They're based in San Diego as well. I can't talk. And UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code PODSWRAP. You will get a deposit match up to $100. UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code PODSWRAP. PADSWRAP. HBVVBRBFBBN says they need to focus on their swing and not Ja Rule. What's going on with Ja Rule? Follow up on that, HBVV. What am I missing?
I've been out of it. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Isn't there some like dinner at the Diamond? Is Ja Rule performing at dinner at the Diamond?
Yes.
What is that about?
The dinner of the Diamond thing. Yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
What the hell is that about? He says, look at their Instagram. I think that's dinner at the park. Somehow I knew that. Also Ashanti. That's great. How about
what is this like? What is this like 06?
Like, I have an idea. A little less booking Ja Rule and a little more situational hitting.
A little more hits with runners in scoring position.
Okay. Yeah, a little more of that. A little more runs and a little less Ja Rule.
Yeah.
How about Ja Run?
Get some Ja runs.
Chad, thank you. It says get the best post-game Padres show to 5,000 subscribers. Can you help us do that, guys? Just hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. All right. This has been fun, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on the radio at 3 p.m. We'll see you tomorrow night following game 2 of this series. We're 3 days away from Fernando Tatis Jr., who had like 100 RBIs the other day. So hopefully that lifts the Padres out of this team-wide slump, hopefully, come Thursday. All right. For Cabo Jim, John, see you tomorrow.
Peace.